The penultimate round of the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship concludes right here at the Temple of Speed, north of Milan in the north of Italy. Good afternoon, everybody, and yes, welcome to the home of the Italian Formula One Grand Prix, which took place right here just 2 weeks ago, almost to the minute. It is, well, it's a damp afternoon here at Monza. If you missed race 2 this morning, that was held on a very wet circuit. The rain has eased up somewhat slightly, but we will be racing on Michelin wet tyres this afternoon. Ian Silvestrin with you in commentary. Soon we'll be joined by Ida Wood as the cars go out on their formation lap as you look at one of the debutants in the series. In fact, now you look at two of them. Nicolas Pino from Chile in South America, and right behind him, the impressive Italian Francesco Simonazzi, who's back with BVM Racing. They are back in Euroformula Open. Philippe Caminiar's car 88, his first podium in Euroformula Open in Formula 3 ever this morning. He drove brilliantly to finish behind the Van Amersfoort Racing drivers. Casper Stevenson, who took his second victory of 2021, just ahead of Cem Bolokbasi, his VAR teammate. You see both the VAR cars on your screen, despite the fact that Cem, very briefly into the second chicane, did take the lead for all of about 5 metres before Casper said, no, you don't. And the Londoner went on to take his second victory of 2021. Natsim Artsman will start out of grid 3 in just a moment. Enzo Trulli will start on pole position as you look at car 28. Cameron Dass on the outside of the front row of the grid. 6 victories in 2021, and he has a 37-point championship lead over his closest rival, Louis Foster, who so far from 2 races this weekend, the Brit has had 2 DNFs. The cars go down into pit lane. It is not as heavy, the rain that is, as this morning, fortunately, as the cars trundle through, and they can keep doing that until pit lane closes to get a feel for the conditions. We started under safety car this morning. The first 6 laps, I'll be honest, I was dreading a safety car coming out after just a few racing green corners. But these 14 drivers drove superbly in atrocious conditions. We had 14 starters, 14 finishers, despite the rain absolutely bucketing down this morning. And it has eased up somewhat. It was a beautiful driving display from these world-class Formula 3 drivers here at what is the fastest circuit on the Euroformula Open calendar. The rain lightly falling. This is Philippe Caminiars, hugs the ripple strip, just looking for where the grip is on his second outlap, car 88. Philippe Caminiars, position 5. Of course, the grid, we'll look at that for you in just a moment, is set by the fastest times set in the race this morning. Casper Stevenson, car 25. The fastest in a straight line yesterday were the Van Amersfoort Racing cars. There's Francesco Simonazzi. The Italian will start from the back of the grid in position 14. We're also looking for a big result this afternoon from car 52 on your screen. Christian Mansell back with us in Euroformula after making his debut at Spa for the Carlin team, with whom he's racing in the GB3 Championship over in Great Britain. The Australian finished in P2. He briefly led Cameron Dass, the championship leader, who went on to win race 1 yesterday. Christian Mansell starting on the outside of the 3rd row of the grid. The cars make their way down through the Ascara chicane. Still very wet conditions. It's still about, would you believe, 20 degrees Celsius here this afternoon. Very muggy, very warm, humid, as we're in, well, summer has passed here in the Northern Hemisphere. We're into the Italian autumn, and it's not long before a grey, cold, wet, icy Italian winter starts to descend on the Monza circuit. Francesco Simonazzi, an engine failure, a seized piston before qualifying yesterday. As you look at Casper, a race win this morning, but we'll start back on grid 7. As we say, the grid is set by the fastest times set in race 2. Enzo Trulli, he was the fastest driver this morning and took the fastest lap, and with it pole position on the final lap of the race this morning. The cars come up to the grid. And we'll take a look at it for you in just a moment. Cameron Dass, the championship leader, on 309 points. His closest rival on your screen, Louis Foster. What a disaster it's been so far this weekend at Monza, but we've still got, or he's still got 17 laps in which to make amends. Louis Foster will start out at grid 9 this afternoon in car 27. Euroformula Open, as you look at the pole sitter, this is Enzo Trulli, whose father Jarno, of course, raced here so many times in a magnificent Formula One career, which culminated, of course, with a victory in the 2004 Monaco Formula One Grand Prix with the Renault team. Enzo, 1 year ago, was a professional kart racer for Kart Republic. Took out the United Arab Emirates Formula 4 Championship to start 2021. Was going to race in Spanish F4, but follows in the footsteps of his father, who jumped straight from karting to Formula 3. That was over 2 decades ago. Of course, I speak of Jarno. Racing for the Carlin team, starts on pole position. Cameron Dass, the championship leader, starts out of grid 2. He's got 37 points over his closest rival, Louis Foster. Grid 3, Natsi Matman from Malaysia. Cembolok Bashi, who briefly led race 2 this morning, the Turk, out of grid 4. Philip Caminias, can he follow up with a second podium this afternoon? Drove brilliantly in the wet conditions, really found a rhythm, felt comfortable in the rain as you look at Christian Mansell. So Mansell lines up on grid 6 exactly 3 decades after Nigel Mansell wins the Italian Grand Prix back in 1991. Christian here at Monza. This is Casper Stevenson, this morning's race winner, his second victory in the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship. The Michelin umbrella keeping him dry. He'll need maximum grip from the Michelin wets. Richard de Geris is alongside Casper Stevenson, of course, who took out the rookie championship this morning as well. Louis Foster, what can he recover this afternoon? He's got 17 laps to chase down and at least finish ahead of Cameron Dass and close the gap on the championship leader, his rival. This is Nicolas Pino on debut, the 16-year-old from Chile in South America. The two-car DriveX team. Josh Mason behind, and it's Enzo Scianti, Brad Benavides and Simonazzi. The highlights of Monza this weekend, race 1 24 hours ago on a dry track. Louis Foster and Cameron Dass going wheel to wheel down into turn 1. They were 3 de Geris, Christian Mansell and Enzo Trulli made contact. Richard de Geris running into the back of Louis Foster. Mansell with a mighty move down the inside, briefly led Euroformula Open here at Monza. But Cameron Dass fought back to take his 6th victory of 2021. Race 2 this morning, it rained hard. Casper Stevenson, when the safety car pulled into pit lane, led the field away in impossible conditions here this morning. A great move to go through to position 2. Philippe Caminias, who was hassling the back of Stevenson, would take his maiden podium, but Cembolok Bashi went wheel to wheel with his teammate. Van Amersfoort Racing would go on to finish 1-2 here at the Temple of Speed. Casper Stevenson taking the rookie championship and his second victory of 2021. This is the championship. Cameron Dass, 309 points over Louis Foster on 272. The gap is now out to 37 points. Race 3, round 7, the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship. This is the grid. Enzo Trulli, the 16-year-old Italian, on pole position alongside the championship leader Cameron Dass. Natsim Atzman out of grid 3. Then it's Cembolik Bashi, the second VAR car, out of 4. Philip Caminiaz on the podium this morning, starts out of 5 alongside the Australian Christian Mansell. Then we go to this morning's race winner, Casper Stevenson, Richard De Geris, Louis Foster, Nicholas Pino, Josh Mason, the sole entrant for Double R Racing this weekend, Enzo Scianti, the lone Texan for Team DriveX, Brad Benavides out of 13, and Francesco Simonazzi for BVM Racing on the final grid position. Josh Mason parked down in the garage, ready to go. There's Denek's car to the right of your screen. He'll be back for the final in Barcelona, but it looks as though it will be a pit lane start for the Brit, Josh Mason.
And that could be strategic, because as we've seen in the previous 2 races, quite a lot has happened at turn 1. If you can stay out of trouble by taking a pit lane start, then that's ultimately beneficial for you. Also, you know, you avoid stalling on the grid or anything like that. So we'd hope that's the case. It might be technical issues, but we haven't been informed of that. There is the points as it stands. 309 points Cameron Dass, 272 for Louis Foster, 244 for Nazim Azman. Jack Crawford is in 4th place, but he's not here with us this weekend, so Casper Stevenson is the next best. And Casper won the rookie trophy title with victory in this morning's very wet race 2. The rain is falling down harder again right now. We haven't been told if the safety car is going to lead the field away, so it does look like we're going to have a standing start. And in addition to that, we've seen a bit of lightning, so it looks like the weather conditions are simulating what we had in the previous race.
No word from race control as Enzo Trulli leads the field around. We'll find out in just a moment, so we believe it will be a standing start. Just like the good old days, rain will not stop these drivers. Unless we have a delayed start, I hope we don't, as Enzo leads the field up to take his place on pole position. Carlin Racing, who of course took victory at Sochi in Russia with their boy Dan Ticktum, a super drive from Dan, and now his teammate here in Euroformula Open. Enzo Trulli to start from pole position, puts car 15 on grid 1. Josh Mason down in the pits, ready to go from pit lane. Was to have started 11th on the grid anyhow, so doesn't lose too much. Enzo Scianti, the Texan, out of grid 12. Welcome to the home of the Italian Formula One Grand Prix. The green flag at the back of the grid, the 5 red lights. For the final time this weekend, we race. Super start from Cameron Dass, and the same can be said for Natsim Atzman. Mansell tries the outside as Enzo Trulli goes 4 wide. Mansell's in the grass. Enzo Trulli from pole position, skates under brakes. The Italian turns in. No, he doesn't. Goes straight ahead as the rain gets heavier here at Monza. Enzo Trulli from pole position has missed the chicane. We'll see where he comes out. A relatively clean start despite atrocious conditions here at Monza. They come through Curva Grande for the first time. Now the rain is absolutely belting down. Cameron Dass in car 28 made a super start, as did the Van Amersfoort Racing team drivers, but they go straight ahead. Enzo retakes the lead.
Yeah, it looked like Enzo had actually let Cembolik Bashi pass because of the advantage he gained at cutting the first chicane. Bolek Bashi has now done the same, so will he let Trulli pass into Lesmo 1 as they go through? Cameron Dass in third. Josh Mason did get out the pits. He is following the field, so that's very good to see. Simonazzi as well, he's in 12th place, and we're seeing lightning strikes behind the drivers at the moment. So I think a storm has landed just as the cars get on track. There is Christian Mansell in 5th place. They went 5 wide down the pit straight. He drove down the grass all the way there. Absolutely incredible stuff. And now there is 0 visibility through the second sector of the lap, so we cannot tell you the order just by looking at our screen.
Cembolik Bashi leads under the bridge down into the Ascari chicane. Enzo Trulli in position 2. Cameron Dass, Philippe Caminiaz, Christian Mansell. It was a sensational start, probably too much so because we are being told this start is under investigation. No drivers mentioned, just those 3 words. Start under investigation for the moment. So Cembolik Bashi We can hear them cheering all the way from Istanbul in Turkey. Second this morning for his 6th podium of 2021. Now runs in position 1. Christian Mansell up into P5. He was in the grass off the start. As the spray, it's absolutely atrocious conditions. There is zero visibility for everybody except Cemboluk Bashi. Cameron Dash pulls out of the spray to try and see where he's going down the main straight here at Monza.
And if Das passes Trulli, that means if Bolok Bassi is asked to hand the position back, it will have to be 2. And Trulli keeps the inside line here, stays in 2nd place. Cameron Das in 3rd, Quinias in 4th. We saw a bit more lightning, and also looks like there might be a flashing light box on Bolok Bassi's car, which is going off as well. We see all the cars navigating the first chicane clearly. There's Louis Foster, no progress. He's still down in 12th place. Enzo Scionti in 13th and Josh Mason in 14th. So really not a good weekend for Mason or Foster.
The rain getting heavier here at Monza, but these drivers have handled the conditions thus far superbly well. Bolok Bashi now starting to pull out something of a lead as Cameron Das goes straight ahead. In fact, I apologise, it's not, it's Richard de Geris. As Enzo Trulli still holds 2nd place, so Cemboluk Bashi pulling away from Trulli. There is Cameron in position 3, Philip Cominias. On the podium this morning, he's really found rhythm, speed, has the pole in these atrocious conditions. Philip Cominias, in fact, it was he who went straight ahead. It is hard for us to follow these drivers. There is nothing to see except incredible amounts of spray. Philip Cominias, head of Christian Mansell in 52, Nazim Atman in 18, then Rashad Dejeris, Nicholas Pino up to 8, Brad Benavides up into 9th place. He's one of 3 Americans here this weekend. Simonazzi Stevenson, this morning's race winner in similar conditions, down in 11th, and it's Louis Foster, Enzo Scionti and Josh Mason after starting from pit lane.
And we follow Cemboluk Bassi going down the back straight, 1.2 seconds ahead already. Fastest in the middle sector though is Philippe Cominias, who's obviously got a triple slipstream here. But Bolok Bassi has got all the visibility in the world. He is the one driver who can clearly see where they are going. Enzo Trulli can't see anything, and neither could Cameron Das. Not actually attempting overtakes on Trulli, but simply picking alternative lines so he could see where he was going. And there's another huge lightning strike over the circuit as they finish the 2nd lap of this race, and the thunder to go with it as well. Bolok Bassi 1.1 seconds ahead of Enzo Trulli. Cameron Das in 3rd. Cominias, we can't see him, we presume he's in 4th. There's confirmation the fastest lap for Bolok Bassi, and is that flames maybe? It's really hard to tell, because at the rear of Bolok Bassi's car, we'll see on the long shot camera, it looks a bit like flashing lights, but it may also just be the exhaust pipe as well. Hopefully we can go back to a shot, and here's a replay of the start.
This is the start, which is under investigation. Enzo Trulli from pole position, Cameron Das from the outside of the front row. Cemboluk Bashi, he just drove around all of them. They were 5 wide. Mansell, Atzman, they were in the grass. Enzo Trulli in pole position, in the lead, but just went straight ahead at turn 1. Cemboluk Bashi says no problem, and the Turk on the inside, it became the outside, it became the inside again, and the Van Amersfoort Racing driver into position 1. Back with you, live pictures as the conditions deteriorate. Bolok Bashi truly doing a nice job in P2, and as Cameron Das, this is Philip Cominias, car 88, sideways on the exit of the 2nd Lesmo corner. A huge flash of lightning in the background.
And the thunder to go with us again. That's quite loud. For the drivers, you're always listening to the car, and particularly in a car like this, you're listening for the engine notes and stuff. When something like that happens, you immediately worry, has the engine blown? And then there's a crash. That's Louis Foster and Enzo Scionti. Scionti's got broken steering, the front left wheel's in the air. Foster's turned it round into the barriers to get it out of the way, which is quite sensible of him, but both of those are out of the race. This is a nightmare for Foster. He was fighting for the title at the start this weekend. Now he's going to be a rank outsider by the end of it. Promotes Josh Mason to 12th, but all 3 of the British drivers are outside the points. We're following Enzo Trulli now. Parabolica, no sign of yellow flags yet. Well, now we do. Yellow flags at turn 6, so that is where the crash was.
An absolute disaster for Louis Foster. It is still just a local yellow at the moment. I speak too soon because the safety car has just been deployed to pick up Cemboluk Bashi. We'll get a replay of what has happened in just a moment to the American and the Brit, Louis Foster and Enzo Scionti. Enzo trying to drive back to pit lane, but the car is wrecked. Cemboluk Bashi, as the rain gets heavier, since the race start. There's Enzo Trulli going through. Cameron Dass, Philip Caminias in P4. Also, something has happened to Christian Mansell. He's dropped down the order to position 10. This is what happened just a few moments ago at the second chicane. Enzo Scianti and Louis Foster going straight ahead. They made contact. Coulthard and Schumacher style, Spa 1988.
It's hard to tell really what happened there. Obviously the front left of Foster went, but it almost looked like he just rear-ended Scianti. Scianti's moved it around, he's parked on the grass. We actually had a strike of lightning go very near our TV production lorry there.
You may have heard it on your TV at home.
Yes, you would have seen the interference, which is occasionally what happens. So, car 35 stopped at turn 6, safety car. I'm almost inclined they might red flag this. I'll be particularly worried for, the marshal right now trying to recover this car, because you do not want to be out and about when there is lightning.
Well, we are under safety car conditions. There is enormous lightning strikes nearby here in the park of Monza to the north of Milan. As you look at Richard De Geris, at least he's having a better run. So Ciambolok Bashi, Enzo Trulli, Cameron Dass run 1, 2, 3. What happened to Louis Foster, Enzo Scianti, it's really irrelevant. That may well be the end of the Brits Championship hopes here this afternoon in atrocious, deteriorating conditions here at Monza. Foster and Scianti come together with zero visibility down into the second chicane. There is Enzo being ushered away from the circuit. And to safety, the Texan runs for cover as Cham tries to pick up the safety car, or the other way around, the safety car tries to pick up Cham.
Yeah, they issued the safety car literally 4 seconds too late because it just gone past the pit exit as they issued it, and then they were like, oh, well, we've got to wait a whole lap now for him to be picked up by safety car as the leading car. So that would mean 4 laps of this race would have been completed on course to 17, but with the safety car in joining the race, we're probably going to add 1 or 2 laps to that. So an 18 or 19 lap race, unless we then turn to a countdown clock because it's running for too long. And you can see so much standing water on the pit straight, very reminiscent of the 2008 Italian Grand Prix, where, of course, Sebastian Vettel won for the Scuderia Toro Rosso team. That was 13 years ago now, so for anyone who watched that as a kid, that will make you feel very old. But for these drivers, they may be emulating that success in the future. A lot of Euroformula graduates go on to Formula 1 today. We had Yuki Tsunoda racing there, Carlos Sainz, he made the podium in the Russian Grand Prix, and car 15 has a 3-second penalty. Yeah. So he actually went down this gate road because there was just zero grip. But unfortunately, that is going to drop him with the safety car in place, several places. But once the field opens back up again, it shouldn't be as much of a penalty.
Fanamosport Racing down in the garage, their drivers at the moment in positions 1 and 11. The safety car has finally picked up Ciambolok Bashi. I'm not sure when Sebastian did win the Grand Prix over a decade ago. It was this wet. Off memory, the final laps were almost dry. This is deteriorating by the moment. Here at Monza, Ciambolok Bashi with the race lead, Enzo Trulli with a 3-second penalty for going straight ahead at the chicane. That's why the start was under investigation. Cameron Dass in P3, Philip Caminias. There is Christian. That's Mansell going through. 3 decades after Nigel wins the Italian Grand Prix at Monza, Christian Mansell in position 10 after a podium yesterday in his second appearance in Euroformula Open. And there we go, safety car in at the end of this lap.
And Mansell was going for the lead at the start of this race in a 5-wide battle down the pit straight, but the line he picked was all on the grass. So unsurprisingly, when he got to the first corner, he lost a few places there, and he's now dropped a few more down to 10th place. But this is, of course, only his second weekend in this car, so he's still doing a very impressive job. He's currently ahead of Casper Stevenson, our race 2 winner, Josh Mason, who started in the pit lane planning to avoid the chaos, and I think he has. But that advantage, or the disadvantage of the gap there, has now been undone by the safety car, and hopefully we're going to see Ciambolok Bassi's car. I'm convinced there's something flashing at the rear of that car, and I'm going to be focusing on that for the rest of this race probably.
Christian Mansell, who was in position 5, of course, his countryman Jack Doohan winning the final Formula 3 race of the FIA Championship at Sochi in southern Russia. And awesome Oscar taking victory in the FIA Formula 2 feature race as well. 2 Australian victories already this weekend in World Motorsport. Christian Mansell He's in position 10 at the moment. He was on the podium yesterday. He led at Monza. He's back in P10 ahead of the driver who won this morning, also from the British Commonwealth. Mansell 10 and Stevenson from London in England 11. It's the Turk who will lead the field around the Parabolica as the safety car lights go off. We're ready to race again.
And Chembolek Bassi was warming up the tyres there. You're not really supposed to do that in this series, but with the amount of water he's displacing at the same time, I don't think he'll get a penalty for that, but normally it's a slam dunk offence.
The safety car pulls into pit lane. The green flag flies and once again we race. Bolokbashi, who's had some super restarts, leads the field down the pit straight for the first time, again under green. Enzo Trulli in position 2. Remember, he's got a 3-second penalty hanging over his head. Another huge strike of lightning in the park here at Monza. There is the flames out the exhaust of Chembolok-Bashi's car. So Trulli in second place. Cameron Das, P3, Cominias. Natsim Atzman sideways under acceleration. Head of Richard DeGeris, who's up into P6, Pino, Benavides, Simonazzi, Christian Mansell, Casper Stevenson, Josh Mason. Remember, he started from pit lane. Look at this as they come through Curva Grande. Josh Mason, he's caught up obviously under the safety car, and we'll see if he can gain anything in the remaining 12 laps down into the second chicane. On the outside, in fact, going straight ahead, Philippe Caminias, not for the first time in this race, the pole with zero grip. Out of 4th place. Gee, I hate to put in a personal opinion, but since when did World Motor Racing introduce circuit racing? This is a Joker Lap WRC style, or WRX style.
Well, Rallycross, or even Nitro Rallycross, which began this weekend at Uta Motorsport Complex. If you want to watch that kind of stuff, they do more jumps there though, so we wouldn't want to see that in these cars. Chembolok Bassi now 1.4 seconds up, 2 laps added to the race distance, so we'll provisionally go on to 19 laps, but with the countdown clock to make sure the schedule stays on, it will probably still stay at around 17 or 18. Chembolok Bassi really wiggling around in that car, but we've seen so many times before, he'll just let the rear end get loose and solve what happens afterwards, often with the rear end in the gravel. But when you're leading the race, you know, you can take those risks. And that is, I think, Nazim Azman, who has slid down the order, currently in 10th place, it looks like. So that was through the Ascari chicane. We didn't see what happened there because the spray was in the way, and they're 3 wide almost. Coming in, Cameron Das tries the outside of Enzo Trulli round Parabolica. He takes 2nd place. That's going to be an 18-point gain on Louis Foster, his main title rival at the moment, and Caminias is all over the rear of Trulli as well.
The American IndyCar style takes the place with the old banking in the background. There is confirmation that 2 laps will be added to the race. As Chembolok Bassi pulls away, just getting back to that point, is certainly not a criticism of Caminias, who is driving superbly in atrocious conditions. Once upon a time, though, it was simply gravel and grass, and there was no choice of a Joker lap, so to speak, going straight ahead. Philip Caminias in position 4, ahead of Richard DeGeris, who's finally got it all together here this weekend, in position 5. And Nicholas Pinot is now ahead of Christian Mansell, who has recovered. There is Natsi Matzman, the Malaysian, back in P10 after running P5 earlier on in the race. Enzo Trulli struggling for grip. Cameron Das lined him up as they raced down the back straight with zero visibility. Natsim Atzman slow in the background, as Chembolok Bassi is now being caught by the championship leader, Cameron Das. Enzo Trulli back to P3, still looking for his first podium in the championship. He is leading the rookie class here this afternoon after Casper Stevenson wrapped up the 2021 Rookie Championship. Chembolok Bassi desperately wants his 2nd win of 2021. He won on debut at the Hungaroring in Budapest. He's had 5 podiums since. So close to taking the lead this morning, ultimately finishing 2nd behind his teammate. There is Enzo Trulli, who's been caught by Philippe Caminias, who is now on the back of the Italian and looking potentially at his 2nd podium this afternoon. As Richard DeGeris, he's pulled away from Nicholas Pinot, the 16-year-old Chilean, doing a fine job holding off Mansell. Simonazzi in position 8, Brad Benavides, Natsi Matzman, Stevenson struggling this afternoon despite winning race 1 in similar conditions this morning. Then it's Mason, and of course Foster and Shanti are out of the race.
And Cameron Das is now our provisional leader because Chembolok Bassi has been handed the 3-second time penalty for cutting turns 4 and 5 and gaining advantage. That was on the opening lap of this race where Trulli cut the corner, but then he let Bollock Bassi through. Bollock Bassi then cut the second chicane and he didn't let Trulli back past and just pulled away. And now he's paying the price for it. So Cameron Dass is somewhere in his rear wing mirrors there. He's in second place, just 8 tenths behind. 2:06 was that lap. So in addition to the 18 points he's currently getting, 25 points he'll be getting for first place, because obviously a Bollock Bassi's penalty. Dass is also getting the extra point for fastest lap and potentially 2 more for positions gained.
So Cem Bollock Bassi, as Atzman goes straight ahead again through the chicane, a 3-second penalty. There's BVM Racing down in pit lane, watching on Simonazzi, who's made his way up to position 8. A 3-second penalty. There is confirmation at the top of your screen, and if you listen very carefully, you can hear thousands of people in Istanbul, Turkey, throwing their remote at the television. Their boy, Cem Bollock Bassi, who leads on track, has just been given a 3-second penalty. Cameron Dass at 2:06.780. He's the fastest on circuit. He is just half a second behind, and with that, will inherit the race lead, although we still have more than half the race remaining this afternoon.
And that'll still leave Bollock Bassi in second, because Trulli has got a penalty as well
in
third place. So Caminiars is now provisionally filling the bottom step of the podium. Rashad Degeris in 5th place, but he can move up to 4th as well, depending on Trulli's pace. Nico Pino in 6th in his first weekend in this car. Mansell 7th. Simonazzi doing a job in 8th. Huge flash of lightning there. Brad Benavides in 9th. And Asman, who is still in title contention, currently in 10th place.
One of the DriveX cars going around in the background. This is Nico Pino. He's bogged it in the gravel. What a huge disappointment for the impressive South American. He had a big crash on Thursday, did minimal laps. He's driven really well this weekend. He was up in position 6 and has parked it in the gravel. And with that, for the second time this afternoon, the safety car is about to be deployed. It's just going to miss the leaders. You look at Nick Pine, Nicholas Pinos, car 78, 14 DriveX, just parked in the gravel.
Yeah, so the grassy mound just on the edge of the circuit goes up, and the plank of the car is beached on that. But of course the driving grills are the ones at the rear, and those are stuck in the gravel. Therefore he can't push himself out. He can't use any weight or anything like that. So he is stuck there. That is the end of his race. A bad end to the weekend for DriveX. There are 2 cars out. Josh Mason moves up a spot to 11th. Casper Stevenson back in the points in 10th place. Now, it's going to take probably 3 minutes for our leading cars to get back round to be picked up by the safety car, because safety car once again just got beaten by the leader there, Cem Bollock Bassi. So with 15 minutes on the clock, I do think this is going to become a countdown race.
Almost certainly, with the second safety car deployment. Nicholas Pino is sitting in the car. He only needs to be pushed just a few meters and he can potentially rejoin the race. The car is fine. It's not damaged at all. It's just got 0 grip, 0 traction. The rear Michelin's just spinning in the gravel. Let's hope for his sake he can get back out on track, even if he does rejoin the lap down. The safety car deployed. There are penalties to be applied to both the race leader, Cem Bollock Bassi, and Enzo Trulli, who is in position 3. We'll leave that aside for the moment. We'll get back to that towards the end of the race. Look at the rain falling here this afternoon at Monza. 2 weeks ago, Daniel took the victory for McLaren, their first win in almost a decade. Nicholas Pino still in the car on the outside of the Ascari chicane. Here this afternoon, the heavens have opened and the weather is so different to what was here a fortnight back. There's Cem Bollock Bassi, so the Turk in the lead, but with a 3-second penalty to be applied. As Francesco Simonazzi going around, just keeps it off the wall. That's how greasy it is as Nazim Atzman goes by and takes the place at the Ascari chicane. He's entitled to do, because Simonazzi was effectively out of the race, did rejoin. Those lights are flashing yellow. They looked red for a split second. They are yellow. It is the safety car deployed. Half race distance for the moment, 17 laps. Becomes 19, although almost certainly it will be a timed race. We won't get in 10 laps in the remaining 13 minutes and 33 seconds, given that they are lapping in 127 seconds, 2 minutes 7 around at the moment, 2 minutes 6 for Cameron. He was the fastest on the circuit. Enzo Trulli, Flying the flag for Carlin Racing, the British team. There's his teammate Brad Benavides in the wee ban 71 car. Of course, they took victory with Dan Ticktum in the FIA Formula 2 Championship down in Sochi in southern Russia. A replay of the start, which was under investigation. Enzo Trulli from pole position, going wheel to wheel with Cameron Das. Bolokbashi up the inside as the field went 5 wide into the grass when Atzman. Bolokbashi down the inside behind Enzo Trulli, who went straight ahead, and with that, the Turk took the lead here at race 3 on lap 1 at Monza. Further back in the pack, Enzo Shanti coming together with Louis Foster, and that right there may well be the end of the championship for the British driver.
There will be 75 points for standard race positions available with the free race Barcelona season finale. Then you've got another 1 point for pole, 3 for fastest lap, 6 for positions gained. So it will still be in title contention, but it's going to be near impossible to, outscore Cameron Das by that amount in the remaining round. There's a replay of Pino spinning around as well. Yep, so we're still behind the safety car.
Well, if Cameron Das has a Louis Foster of a weekend at Barcelona in a month's time, if you know what we mean by that, anything can happen in motorsport. Cameron Das cannot win the title this afternoon, of course. Louis Foster can give it one almighty crack at the Spanish track in 4 weeks from today. He will come back stronger than ever as the safety car prepares to pull in at the end of this lap. It will be a timed race. We've just got over 11 laps remaining, and we've still got some 10 laps to race. So it will come down a race to the clock. The lights will go out on the safety car imminently as the field exit the Ascari chicane. So the order is Bolokbashi, Das, Trulli, Caminiaz, Richard de Geris. Super to see the Frenchman in form this afternoon. In position 5, Mansell 6, Benavides 7, Simonazzi 8, Atzman, Casper Stevenson, Josh Mason from pit lane in 11, and Nicholas Pinot bringing out the safety car just a few moments ago. Bolokbashi not exactly going in a straight line. He's about to lead the field around to the line. The second safety car intervention. Now Cham accelerates. Good restart from Bolokbashi. You can see the Turkish flag on the side of his car. He's sideways on the exit of the Alboreto Parabolica, and the green flag flies. Again, we race here at Monza. The rain coming down in absolute bucket loads here this afternoon. Cameron Das looking for his 7th victory of the 2021 championship, as Richard de Geris going side by side with Philippe Caminiaz and Christian Mansell. So Bolokbashi needs to pull away by at least 3 seconds. There's Das in second place. Good restart from Enzo Trulli. And Philippe Caminiaz keeps it on the road. Nice. In fact, it was Richard de Geris.
And Christian Mansell did get through back up to 5th place. So Mansell went from 6th to 5th down to 10th, and now he's back up to 5th. A great job there by the Australian. And the rain is coming down harder than it has at any point in this race. So the track is only getting wetter. It's quite good they did actually let them go for the safety car, because they need to keep the temperature in the tyres and to be displacing the water from the track to make it a safe place to drive. Bolokbashi edges through. He's leaving a lot of spray behind him as he's coming through. So he's on the 11th lap of the race. We've got 9.5 minutes to go. I think there's only going to be 3 or 4 laps here. So he's really got to push to extend that gap to Cameron Das. 1.486 seconds at the moment, and they made up 8 tenths in that first sector, and that is one of the Crypto Tower cars going up.
Caminiaz going around.
So that means Mansell is now provisionally in the final podium spot.
A complete 360 from the pole. Ken Block would have been proud of that one. How he kept it off the wall, out of the gravel, and rejoined, losing very little. That was spectacular from Philippe Caminiaz. He's dropped down the order, but he's still in the race. We'll try and get you a replay of that as he exited the Lesmo curves. Philippe Caminiaz so lucky to get away with that. Bolokbashi in less than 1 lap has already put 2 seconds between himself and the American, who is there somewhere on your screen in the spray in the background. Down into the Parabolica, turns in nicely, does the Turkin car 74, drifts on the exit, finds grip in the middle of the circuit. Grip, that's a relative term here this afternoon. accelerates. We'll check the gap this time with 8 minutes and 22 seconds left on the clock in race 3, the penultimate round of the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship. He's got wheel spin down the straight at 230 kilometres an hour. Undrivable is the circuit, but Chembolok-Bashi turns in over
I think
the
he's broken the
grass.
front wing there. He's definitely damaged the front left end plate. The car wasn't accepting that very nicely.
He's got away with it.
And the red flag, the race is being red flagged. That means if they're not going to restart it, the result gets taken back by a lap. It is definitely way too wet to drive on right now. So
Das will win.
yeah, we've got a 7-minute, 42-second wait.
Look at this from Philip Caminias coming out of Lesmo 1 in the background. Goes around a complete 360, immediately puts it back into probably second gear, accelerates and only loses 2 places. Across the line, watch this down the straight, not in top gear, nowhere near top speed, which was 273 k's an hour yesterday. Wash off 100 from that. And Chembolok-Bashi, as Brad Benavides goes wide, Chembolok-Bashi fighting to keep it on the circuit. The race has been red flagged.
Now, with a red flag, if it's a red then a checker, normally that means you go into the pit lane and you go to the podium, you get top 3. In this scenario, it's just saying red flags, and they'll then file into the pit lane, go to the very end, and essentially wait for the race to restart. But we've only got 6 minute 50 on the clock anyway. By the time they get back, there won't be enough time to restart. So I expect this is definitively the end of this race.
There is a provisional order on the left of your screen. We are waiting for a word from race control. We are just relaying what we are being told at the moment. Cameron Das, at the moment, is being showed in position 1 because that 3-second penalty has been applied. Chembolok-Bashi almost putting in the required 3 seconds between himself and the American, but it does look as though he's just come up short. The red flag being displayed. Atrocious conditions. Torrential rain here at Monza in race 3, round 7 of the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship. Das, Bolok-Bashi and Enzo Trulli, Chem and Enzo both with penalties applied, and we are being told the race will not restart. Cameron Das has won race 3 and extends his lead in the championship. Takes the victory by 9/10 of a second despite Chembolok-Bashi taking the checkered flag first. The Turk on the podium second, and great to see Enzo on the final step this afternoon. Mansell, P4 here at Monza. Richard de Geris, congratulations to Richard, who finally got it all together. Francesco Simonazzi on debut for BVM Racing. Brad Benavides, the second Carlin car. Nazi Martzman, Philip Caminias, who dropped out of 4th place, did incredibly well to keep it on the track. And the newly crowned rookie champion from this morning, Casper Stevenson, just comes across the line in position 10, ahead of his countryman, the final finisher, the Brit, Josh Mason. The championship looks like this, 63 points. It's almost out of sight as Cameron Das takes his 7th victory of 2021. 3 starts this weekend and 3 DNFs for Louis Foster. He has picked up 0 from a miserable weekend. Points-wise, here at Monza. Enzo Trulli climbs out of car 15. On the podium will be the young Italian here in Italy. And Chembolok-Bashi, another podium, so close to the race win, but in all honesty, close, as were all these drivers, to putting in the wall. We only had the one incident, or the one contact incident between Louis Foster and Enzo Scianti, which eliminated both the Brit and the American. Enzo's countryman, Cameron Das, one hand on the championship trophy for 2021. Of course, the championship final in 4 weeks from now, the 23rd and 24th of October.
Last lap before red flag was dangerous.
I know.
That was dangerous.
That was a really good job, all right?
And Cameron Das will take a 63-point lead over Louis Foster into the Spanish finale.
Can I give this to you?
Enzo on the podium this afternoon.
Cameron Das, it's certainly pouring cats and dogs, but also a lot of points for you.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, to be honest, I think I was better off in a boat than a race car today. I mean, I was lifting down the main straight because the car was just, you know, fishtailing all the way down. So one of the scarier races I've ever been in for sure. It was really more than survival than about, you know, attacking for position or anything. But yeah, I mean, props to Cem for keeping out in front and basically setting the lines and everything. But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, seen from the outside, I must say, a pretty good job by everybody, especially by you. Right?
Yeah, I think everyone did a good job for the most part to keep it on track. So it could have been a lot worse. I'm very happy I've survived that one.
You can go to Barcelona a little bit more relaxed?
A little bit more relaxed, but I'm going to be going for the win every race. So let's go for it.
Well done for now.
Thank you.
All the best.
Highlights of a crazy race here at Monza. Enzo truly started from pole position. Cameron Das from the outside of the second row of the grid made a great start, as did Bolokbashi, as the field went 5 wide down into the first chicane. Enzo truly was in the lead, but just locked up. The car did not turn. He went straight ahead, which would ultimately incur a 3-second penalty. Although Trulli would finish on the podium in third place. Enzo Scianti and Louis Foster, they came together at the second chicane, and a miserable weekend for Foster concluded right there and then. That brought out the safety car for the first of 2 times. Here this afternoon, the cars were both undrivable. Bolokbashi at the restart, pulling away from Cameron Das. As the rain continued to get heavier, Nicolas Pinot, the Chilean, was in position 6, but just beached the second Dravex car in the grass. Bolokbashi, he also incurred a 3-second penalty. He had to win by more than 3 seconds over Cameron Das. He almost did it. Philip Caminias did superbly well to keep that car out of the gravel. The pole after a podium this morning, ultimately coming home in position 9. The conditions were absolutely undrivable. He needed to pull away 3 seconds. He almost did it. But the car was fishtailing. There was zero visibility, zero grip. With that penalty applied, Cameron Das takes the victory by just 9/10 of a second in race 3 this afternoon. Enzo Trulli on the podium for Carlin Racing in third place. Cem Bolokbashi so close to his second victory of 2021. Second this morning in race 2 and second this afternoon. And his 7th victory, and now a 63-point lead for the American Cameron Das here this afternoon at Monza. All the way from the USA, Cameron Das is now a raging hot favourite for the 2021 Euroformula Open title. Well, they say the rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain, but here at Monza it has bucketed down this afternoon. This is the penultimate round of the championship. In 1 month from now, we go to the home of the Spanish Grand Prix, that is Barcelona, on the 23rd of 24th of October. Thanks for your company. We'll see you in Spain for the championship final.